Law enforcement's response to protests following the shooting of a black teenager in Ferguson, Missouri, has focused attention on the increasing militarization of police departments. Oklahoma law officers are split on whether using surplus military equipment is a good idea, even as law enforcement, state agencies, universities, and one school district have taken advantage of bargain prices to purchase weapons and vehicles.
Oklahoma U.S. Senator Tom Coburn and the executive director of the Oklahoma ACLU agree on concerns over the increasing use of military surplus equipment by law enforcement.
There is no role for the federal government in the local and state police forces in our country. And I hope we can winnow that out today to see where we've stepped across the line.
If you show up in paramilitary style gear with paramilitary style weapons and paramilitary equipment, the message is not we're here to protect and serve, it's you are the enemy and we are the army and we will conquer you.
Police looking more like soldiers is a trend that Senator Coburn found out began back in the 1980s.
And it wasn't until the 1980s drug war, it was actually the Reagan administration that wanted to completely repeal posse comitatus. But what instead happened is they just amended it significantly to allow for cross-training and weapons transference.
It is an issue that has police and sheriff's departments disagreeing about. Norman Police Chief Keith Humphrey says his agency has made one purchase through the Defense Department's Excess Property Program, known as the 1033 program, which provides surplus military equipment to state and local civilian law enforcement agencies.
We did purchase a Skywatch tower, and we utilized that during our Christmas details at the mall and during our festivals here.
Chief Humphrey says he would never pass judgment on an individual agency's decision to buy and deploy military-grade equipment, but now some 20 school districts across the country have made such purchases. The chief says that does raise questions.
Why are you purchasing? What's the need to purchase these items? Because everybody's not trained to utilize these items. And then what's the purpose? I go back to what's the purpose?
So far, only one Oklahoma school district has made purchases from the military surplus program. Putnam City Campus Police bought 4 M16 and 2 M14 assault rifles, 2 shotguns, and 8 .45 caliber handguns. Records from the Oklahoma Office of Management and Enterprise Services show since 1995 there have been 1,554 purchases by Oklahoma entities from the DoD's 1033 program. The most purchased items, M14 and M16 assault rifles and .45 caliber handguns. Other items purchased include airplanes, helicopters, night vision goggles, electronic hardware kits, forward-looking infrared imaging systems, explosive ordnance robots, trailers, Humvees, armored cars, and mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicles, otherwise known as MRAPs. They were developed for warfare in Iraq and Afghanistan to protect troops against improvised explosive devices. 26 MRAPs have been purchased by Oklahoma law enforcement agencies, 7 in central Oklahoma alone. The biggest Oklahoma buyer of the 1033 program is the Oklahoma County Sheriff's Office, which has made 175 purchases. Shawnee Police Chief Russell France has purchased several Humvees, one of them an armored Humvee. He repainted and equipped it with lights and has been put in service in situations where officers had to deal with possible violent arrests.
We have used that on a couple of high-risk narcotic search warrants. We pulled right up to the house, and as soon as we did, the people came out of the house with their hands up and just gave up.
And the president of the Oklahoma Sheriff's Association has used his MRAP in a similar fashion.
We did respond to a hostage situation with the suspect had a high-powered rifle. That's the only time that we've even had this out on the road.
Pontotoc County Sheriff John Christian says his Humvees have also proven their value.
The Humvees that we have had them down on the river on a rescue mission.
And like Chief France, Sheriff Christian paid $2,500 for his MRAP. The MRAP Shawnee Police purchased cost the U.S. military $733,000. And that did not include the upgrade.
when it came back to the states or the government program to refit these. So they pulled the chassis off, slid the powertrain out. It has a new powertrain. It's got a new engine, transmission, 6 new tires on it, and we picked it up. They threw an extra 6 tires on it.
During our talk with Shawnee Police Chief Russell France, on the table was one of the several M16s he has purchased for his department.
I'm able to pick up this weapon here, which is very similar to the weapon that I was buying my officers. Instead of $1,000, this weapon cost me $40.
The civilian version of that M16, known as an AR-15, can be purchased at a local Walmart for just over $1,000. The weapon that Chief France purchased had sat in a bunker for decades and had never been fired. The discussion about police looking like soldiers developed from the police response to the protests and riots in Ferguson, Missouri, after the shooting of Michael Brown. The process of militarizing police has little to do, though, with terrorism. It has more to do with natural disasters or lone wolf shooters at schools or malls, but mostly it's used in the war that police have fought for decades, the war on drugs.
We have to change the mindset of law enforcement in our country. We will never win the war on drugs. And we can't stop treating people like the enemy until we stop fighting a war that shouldn't have been fought in the first place.